have always loved animals, all kinds of animals. One of my earliest memories is when I was about 3 years old and living in South Texas. I used to go into my backyard and fill up a bucket with water and go out and pour it on a pile of rocks because I knew that living underneath those rocks were toads. And I knew that when they felt the water on the rocks, they would think that it was raining, so they would come out. And they would hop around, so I would talk to them and sing to them. So growing up, it seemed like there were so many animals everywhere: toads, fish, reptiles, birds. But today, unfortunately, we are observing a mass extinction event of the diversity of animals on the planet. If you're a younger person, you can ask your grandparents about what kinds of animals they used to see in the landscapes they visited when they were young. You may be surprised to learn that it can be really difficult to find some of those species now. They've become rare or they're not there at all. Even birds like orioles here, really beautiful birds, were once really common, but they've declined quite significantly. These kinds of declines have happened really quickly over just a few generations. The reasons for these declines are many, but I want to talk about one of them tonight: infectious disease. This is disease caused by pathogens, things like viruses, bacteria, and fungi. Animals get sick from pathogens too, just like us. And the thing is, we seem to be observing more animals getting sick from new diseases. If you go fishing in Colorado's mountain rivers, you'll be hard-pressed to find this native greenback cutthroat trout. They've become more rare, and one of the things that has been driving their decline is an infection called whirling disease. It causes the fish to develop deformities and suffer high mortality rates. In Africa during the 1890s, a viral disease wiped out 90% of the wildebeest herds. In 1993, a different virus killed 1/3 of the lions in the Serengeti. Why is this happening? Certain diseases have evolved resistance to drugs, or the influence of pesticides and climate change have made some animals more susceptible to infections. But one cause of new diseases in animals and potential extinction is something you may not have heard about: moving animals around. When we move animals around the planet, they also unintentionally spread new diseases to new places. People stocked non-native trout into Colorado, and it carried the disease that is causing the declines in the native trout. People also brought cattle into Africa that carried the virus that nearly wiped out the wildebeest. People also moved domestic dogs into the Serengeti, and they carried the virus that killed so many lions. We call this pathogen pollution. In a global study we're doing in my lab, we're finding that pathogen pollution is a major driver of animal declines due to infectious diseases. One disease I have worked on a lot is a fungus that affects amphibians, the frogs, toads, and salamanders, or the animals with slimy skin. The disease that's affecting them is caused by a pathogen that is called Batrachochytrium dendrobatidis, or we call that BD for short. This pathogen, BD, earns the distinction of being the absolute worst in terms of its effects on biodiversity. It's a major contributor to the extinction and decline of hundreds of amphibian species. And it, too, is the result of animals being moved around the globe by people. In my lab, we're working to help amphibians fight this pathogen. We use fungus-fighting bacteria that are naturally found on amphibians and develop probiotic treatments that we apply to the skin of amphibians, in this case, toads. One of these bacterial treatments, when it grows in a petri dish, turns a deep purple color, and it is like kryptonite against the pathogen. We pour these purple bacteria over our beloved toads, and the bacteria becomes sort of a protective coating to repel the fungus. We call this Project Purple Rain, also in honor of the late great Prince. So here I am pouring things on toads again, but not just to play with them, to save them. In my lab, we work on a small scale with toads and probiotics, What we really need to do is think about not moving animals around the planet in the first place. When we move animals around the planet for any reason, there are consequences. They can be Trojan horses full of microscopic invaders that cause major disease, decline, and even extinction of native species. By letting animals stay in their natural environment, we help preserve the biodiversity we have remaining. We decrease the spread of pathogens, increase the health of native species, and begin to stop mass extinction in its tracks. Thank you.